Follow Helen Paul and I, Frank Donga.
You forgot your show notes inside.
Can you imagine? That's what I'm looking for.
Over the last 3 years, we have traveled through the hills and the valleys of Nigeria.
I've seen people combine their coleslaw with ofada rice and pomo before.
Say what? As we uncover the untold stories of food heroes on the front lines.
There's no planting season for us. We produce here every week.
Connecting them to untapped opportunities and the experts who can solve their problems.
We advise farmers to top dress with urea at the rate of 90 kilograms per hectare.
For a very long time, I think we neglected farming in Nigeria.
We provide loan to these farmers, and then we've been working with them for like over 10 years now.
So anybody can participate in agriculture.
This is Farm&Fortune. Nasiru seems to have cracked the code around growing quality crops on his multiple farms, but he still has a lot to grapple with, particularly when it comes to distributing his produce. Is he growing more crops than he can sell?
Idan muke siyar da amfaninmu idan mun cire shi, za mu ɗiba kayanmu za mu kai kasuwa. Idan mun kai kasuwa, kasuwa suna da dokokinsu su kuma. Akwai dillali, wanda shi zaman shi kenan idan ka kawo mai kaya shi ya siyar maka. Idan ya siyar maka, shi zai cire nashi la'ada ne, sauran kuɗin da aka siyar ko nawa ne zai dawo maka da shi, amma dari za ka kai shi kasuwa ana ma siyan wulaƙanci, wanda ka siyar ma ko kuɗin takin kama ba zai dawo ba, kuma ba ka da zaɓi wanda ya zama dole ka siyar, saboda ba ka da yanda za ka ajiye tumatur. Kai yanzu a baka tumatur a ce ka ajiye baka sanya za ka yi da shi, kwana ɗaya kwana biyu ya riɓe ya lalace. Manomi masu ƙananan ƙarfi ka yi noma amma ba ka da wajen ajiye kaya, abin nan yana matuƙar damun mu. Saboda akwai lokacin da za mu cire kaya aka cire kwando 100, to wannan shi ma yana ba mu wahala a harkar noma.
Hello, welcome to Farm&Fortune. I'm your host for today, and I have a wonderful host. The host with me today. You look sharp anyways.
If only I had $1 every time someone tells me that, you know how much I would have made.
You won't make so much, because the dollar is not even up to 1,000. That is making you say that you have made money.
Wow.
So he paying you. My name is Helen Paul.
Haters everywhere. Anyway, I'm Frank Donga. And right now, let's go to our fortune board to see how Mr. Nasser is faring. In case you're wondering, the fortune board is our way of measuring how well our farmers are doing on the path to success, considering certain parameters and their business decisions.
I don't know why you're speaking big English because you want to explain something. Just the ability to explain things simply is what is affecting you now. We are looking at if the farmer blow, or you know feed blow, or you know go finish. That's what we are looking at. Something very simple, though. The ability of their business and their faring. That's what we're talking about. Simple.
Okay, it's okay. Like you said, we scored them from a scale of 0 to 100. We apportion marks on different parameters, 4 of them in all. So first of all, I'm going to grade Mr. Nasiru on the magnitude of the challenge, how big his challenge is. So on his magnitude of the challenge, I'm going to score him 15 out of 20.
Fantastic. But for me, for farmer's attitude, I will give him 12.
12 is not bad. 12 is not bad. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch Mr. Nasiru's story and watch it unfold.
We'll be right back.
Every farmer hopes to sell up his crops and make profits. If customers are not locating Nasiru, what has he done to locate them?
Amma da na fara wani gefen, tun kayan yana gona, sai na fara samun financial support daga masu son kayan, saboda lokacin yana wahala. Sun gama targeting time din da zan yi harvesting, yayi scarce babu shi. To sai su dinga bani financial support. Su ce nawa ne me babu, sai ce babu ba yi feshi ba, a'a ba taki, to sai su turo min da kuɗi ko su turo min da taki, sai ayi. Idan muka cire kayan aka kai musu kasuwa, aka siyar. To a hankali su kuma sai su dinga cire kuɗin takin su ko kuɗin da suka taimake da shi. Amma da yake muna da fahimtar juna, ba lokaci ɗaya suke cire kuɗin ba, saboda sun san harkan gona. Sai su dinga cire kuɗin da idan na kai musu kaya su cire kamar da 20% haka, duk kai kaya 20%, har mu gama maganar debt ɗinsu da yake wajena. sauran kaya kuma ya zama riba na. To haka ni kuma na ta maintaining kuɗaɗen sai ya zama na daina karɓan kuɗi ma daga hannunsu. Sai dai na riƙe alƙawari idan na cire kaya su kaɗai kawai zan ba mu. Saboda lokacin da ba ni da shi su ne suka tsaya mu. Kaga yanzu da na samu kuma baran guje su. To gaskiyan abin da ya faru.
And that was our farmer Nasiru talking about his activities on the farm, his challenges and what he plans to do. I wonder what you will grade him as far as what his endeavor is all about. But hold that thought. Just before you do that, I need to bring our guest on today's episode into the studio. And that person is no other person but Dr. Bolanle Ojuri. You're welcome, Dr. Bolanle.
Thank you for having me.
So you've seen the documentary, you've seen our farmer Nasiru and how he's juggling so many things, at this moment. What would you do if you were in his shoes right now with respect to marketing and ensuring that you're diversifying and getting the best from your agribusiness is on point?
Okay. The first thing I will do is to be with a group, a focus group like a cooperative, an aggregation group. So with that, I'm sure that my produce will be sorted in the market, because Nasiru really had that problem, that challenge, where he had the middleman taking all the profits because he couldn't access the market directly. So if he's in a cooperative, there'll be a group. They will do the marketing. They will link the market. So the middleman will be cut off at that point. So the best thing will be to be in a group where you can actually say, okay, this is our price. This is how we are going to the market. This is what we want for our produce.
Well, thank you very much for that. So joining those kind of groups in markets will help them, to...
They'll be in charge.
Be in charge of marketing. But if I can ask, what do you think is the most important thing to put in place to ensure that you don't run into marketing problems? Because I see a lot of young farmers or new farmers, and people come on, every time to say, I have this produce, I want to sell, help me, I'm looking for market. How can you prevent that kind of error?
Okay, the first thing is that before you actually start production, you must have a target market. You must have a segment which you want to market to. So that will speak to how you do the production. So you can't just produce and now start looking for, if it's not that you are going to the open farm. So if you want to produce, you have it in mind that these are the people I'm targeting. Maybe the big eateries, those are the people you are targeting. Maybe you want to use high-end scale retailers like ShopRite, Spars and everything. Or maybe you want to go to all these joints, maybe KFCs and all those ones. So you know that first, let me get the market. So you go there, you showcase what you have, and then you know the time the produce will be ready. You sign the contract, then you kick off. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you are going to go to the open market without any specification. You don't know who will buy, when they will buy. So you have to really dot your I's and cross your T's. So
what you're saying now is it's always better, it's the best practice to make sure before you go into agricultural production of any type, you know the people you want to produce for.
Yes.
You know the market you want to supply.
Yes.
Not only the market, you have to know the specification.
That will make your product stand out. That's product differentiation now. It will make you stand out. So if you're into peppers and your bell peppers are different from the normal ones outside, definitely the prices that your bell peppers will command in normal market will be different from if you take it to Spa. So if you have that specification already, just take the picture there, just go there, strike a deal, go into production, so you deliver. Your market is ready, so you produce.
So it's always good if you can afford to physically go to these places, visit them, make a meeting with them, then ask them questions, get what they need, the quantity they need, before you now start
thinking of not that you just produce and say, okay, help me, who will buy it? Because if you do that, your cost of production, they won't even look at it. You run at a loss because everything you put in, you didn't really factor in your return at that. Because if you had done the deal before, you actually know that, okay, this is what I'm expecting. You know the price of the seed, you know the price of fertilizer and everything that you are going to use, the components, yes, you know all that. So you'll be able to do the calculation before you actually start. Not that you start to run around. Otherwise, if you do that, except it's a festive period that you know that know-how, I will sell. But that know-how, there's even a segment.
There are levels to it.
Yes, that will buy at a particular price. So that is just it.
I'm happy you mentioned something. You said, if possible, when you visit them,
get their details, what they want, when they need it, and then strike a deal, sign a contract.
Yes.
How important is signing a contract or putting things on paper and like an agreement?
Yeah, it is very important because word of mouth, doesn't cut it because they can renege. They can say, no, we don't want it again. We didn't say it.
Wow.
They can come up with excuses. Not because they don't want it, but because something came up that took away the money they were supposed to use to pay you. You understand? But if they sign that agreement, that means I'm producing it for company A. So whatever comes up, they will give me my money. So it must be signed. It must be written.
Wow.
Writing it down, documenting it is a way of reducing risk. So if you don't write it down, you are at risk. They can change because it's word of mouth. There is no evidence.
What kind of compensation can come in for new farmers or young farmers who they are off-takers? Like you mentioned, maybe for one reason or the other, they have to break the contract or they have to... What's the safety for the farmer?
Well, there has to be a clause in the contract. Peradventure, you are no more taking off my produce, so and so will happen. It must be written down and you sign it. So if they break, they have to.
At least you know what you are expecting.
Yes.
That's very comforting to know. And I think a lot more farmers need to know this and also practice it. It's going to prevent the running around after production. What other thing what other steps or tools that are available or techniques or connections or maybe programs that are available that farmers can also put in perspective when marketing so that they don't run at a loss? What would you advise?
Okay, so you are into production now, you are in a group. So that group will be the focal point. So that group will now start the marketing from your end, where we are going. So it's that group that will start to champion the cause. And then from word of mouth too.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah. You start going to markets. I have this kind of bell pepper. You must have produced before. You have an idea of the size, the color. If you have a different color that is not so popular in that market, that's a niche. So if you have a niche market, you'll be more profitable. So you go around and you showcase it. You understand? So basically you go out to talk to people that can use your products. So if you want to even do value addition, that's another aspect of it. So you go all out, you look at it, okay, I fit in here, you talk with them. And then you go forward from there.
To what extent does value addition that you mentioned, how much does it help in marketing?
Well, it does a lot because it differentiates your product from the market, the general market. So now I'm selling, let's say, I'm into broiler production now. So I already have the produce, but I want to carve a niche. So I decide, okay, why don't I start smoking mine? So I segment my markets. Those I will buy, dress and kill. Then those that I will just smoke. So I go to different areas. All those people that are having bars, joints. So you go there and tell them that I have barbecue chicken. Something rare. You show it to them.
And with that, you probably make more money.
More money.
Because of that value addition.
Because you've added value.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you create your own markets. Your own niche.
Thank you. You watched our farmer Nasiru and what he's going to. What would you score him over 40 with regard to access to resources, like all the materials he has to? We're trying to put in perspective, how much success he's going to make in the future with his farm. So, considering access to resources, what will you grade him over 40?
I will give him a 30 because he was actually so good. He diversified his portfolio. When the tomato wasn't really working, he started cropping another thing. So, and he did something like, he entered a kind of scheme, like this Baba Gona scheme. They provided him input, so it reduced his cost of production. So he was able to plow that back into the business. So it's like he was thinking outside the box. So he's so sure that he's going to make it. So he bringing back the profits back. Now made sure that he had the money, the access to funds, his own funds, not really borrowing again. But he didn't cut off from those people that gave him the money because they were actually like off-takers. They were still taking a percentage of whatever he produced. So he had a sure market. Those people will take a percentage. He will market his own percentage. And it was on his own terms. He had the money. So he's really doing well.
So for thinking outside the box and being innovative, and so you score Nasir 30/40.
Yes.
Which is good. And talking about thinking outside the box, Doctor, hold your thought 1 second. Okay. We have a DIY hack for you. You guessed it, it's about tomato. Let's take a moment and watch that. We'll be right back with the doctor.
Welcome to the DIY segment. Today, we'll discover a new way to preserve tomatoes using a tomato water dump tank. Find a moderately sized tank or drum, fill it with water, add a dash of chlorine, carefully pour tomatoes inside. A tomato water dump tank with the infusion of chlorine helps preserve tomatoes by reducing the contamination or pathogen capable of destroying the tomatoes. It also helps prolong the lifespan of tomatoes. That's our hack. See you next week.
Welcome back. I'm sure you enjoyed that DIY hack. We still have Dr. Bolanle Ojuri in the studio with us, talking about how to make sure that when you're diversifying your agribusiness, you can ensure that you make good profit. Thank you very much, Doctor, for staying with us and sharing your experience with us. Can you now summarize or give us a sort of a blueprint to make us ensure that we get it right in planning our agribusiness?
Okay. So start off, when you want to go into business, you have what you call a business canvas.
A business canvas.
Yes, you have a business canvas, which is a broader view, bigger than a business plan. So that will show you key components of the aspects of the business. Who are you targeting? Who are your target audience? Who are your partners? What are the activities that you are going to be doing? How are you going to get the income? How are you going to do the marketing? So it will tell you the what, the how, the way of your business. So it's a broad view. So you write everything down, you think it out loud, you write it down. So you key it in. So there is a template for that business canvas. So before you start any business activity, so you key in all the necessary components into that template. So with that, you have an idea that, okay, this is where I'm going. This is how I want to generate my income. These are the people that I'm going to be targeting. These are the people that are going to be partners. Okay. These are the key elements in the production.
Is there anywhere some of our audience can maybe, is there a template online they can download?
Yes, you can download a business template, canvas template online.
A business canvas template, and that's going to help them to know.
It will help you to know.
Producing for.
Yes, you have key components there. So with the key components, you'll be able to answer the questions that, okay, these are my target audience. This is where my revenue streams are coming from. These are my partners, my potential distributors. You key in everything. So with that, you go to work.
That was very insightful, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank
now,
you.
let's complete Nasir's fortune score.
Okay.
How would you score him or rate him over 20 in terms of growth potential? You've seen all the things he's doing. You graded him or scored him on his access to resources, and we graded him on a few other things. So, lastly, growth potential over 20. Rate him.
I'll give him a 15 because Nasir is very resilient. So he went all out to make sure that he makes profits, and he didn't now eat his profit. He plowed it back into the business. So making it expand such that the people in his community are so shocked that a young farmer like Nasir can actually make profit. So I give him a 15. He's actually going to make
15.
it. Yes.
Interesting. 15 is not a bad score. And let's check out Nasir's total score over 100 and see what he has on our fortune score. And that's impressive.
That's great.
He's an A-list farmer.
Yes, he is.
That's interesting. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the show to
Thanks for having me.
Your experience and knowledge with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hold the thought right there. We're not going anywhere yet. We'll take a moment now to join Helen Paul on Secrets of the Soil. We'll be right back.
Na kai kasuwa, na ga irin kuɗin da na samu, da yanayin yadda na sa mutane farin ciki ganin kawo kayana da na yi. kuma suke mamakin karancin shekaru na ni ne nake wannan aikin da kaina. Lallai abun ya min daɗi wanda mutane suna farin ciki kuma ni ma na samu kuɗi na ji daɗi. Shine dalilin abin da ya fi bani farin ciki a harkar da na fara yi.
It's still Farm&Fortune, and this segment again is Secrets of the Soil. We have our soil experts, always beautiful and ready to educate us on Farm&Fortune. Let's welcome Miss Abere Miriam Ugadu. Good to have you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. So we're looking at, asking more questions because you're an expert. I want to ask the first one. Nasiru, plants different things on his farm. Is that good? Is that advisable for farmers to do that?
Thank you, Helen. Sure, there are benefits of diversifying crops on the same farmland. One of it we have is intercropping.
Okay.
It involves cultivation of 2 or more crops simultaneously on the same land. Intercropping helps to reduce the activities of obligate pests on a farmland. For example, when you plant maize, you plant soybean.
Okay.
Pests affecting maize, we have fall armyworm, and that of soybean, we have aphids. You can see that these are 2 different pests.
Yes.
And this intercropping helps to reduce their activity of infestation. Intercropping also helps to replenish the nutrient fertility of the soil. Another example is this maize and this soybean. Soybean are naturally nitrogen fixers, which are utilized by maize, thereby increasing the yield. Another importance of intercropping is that it utilizes the soil in a more efficient way, unlike monocropping.
Fantastic. That leads me to the second question, which other way can the soil benefit from planting different crops?
Another way we have is crop rotation.
Okay.
Crop rotation is a practice of planting different types of crops in the same farmland sequentially. Crop rotation helps to mitigate the pathogen buildups on the farmland. For instance, if you plant maize in this growing season, in the next growing season, it's not adequate for you to plant that the same maize because the pests that affect maize will, of course, affect it in the growing. So it's advisable, it's recommended that you plant another crop in such a way that, for instance, if you plant soybean in the next growing season, the pests that affect maize will not be able to affect
the soybean.
Crop rotation also helps to increase the fertility status of the soil, thereby increasing soil texture and giving optimum yield. Thank you.
Wow. I should be the one to say thank you because I didn't know. I thought it was the same pest that will affect both crop. It's not the same. So they can't function at the same time. Thank you so much, Mr. Berry. You see, it's good to have an expert teach you something. I've learned so much, and of course, it's necessary to pass it on. So keep teaching different people what you've learned from Miss Abere Chukwu, our expert for Secrets of the Soil. It's still Farm&Fortune, and the next we're going to right now is Banter. The show goes on. Don't disconnect. Let's go. Still Farm&Fortune. It's time for Banter. And my game today is called Boju. What is Boju in Yoruba? Close my eyes to play the game. All right, so let's meet our participants. We have Additional Kafidipe, right? And of course, my beautiful participant is Abiba Ajao, right? I want to ask you a few questions before we go straight into the game. Abiba, why do you farm?
Over time, it was interesting to be able to plant and produce things that we eat that we regularly buy from the market. So for us, we do it to subsidize the cost of getting food from the market.
Fantastic! Wow. So it wasn't for business sake initially.
No.
Great. All right. So for my bros, Additional, what has been your biggest stock or misconception about farming?
Wow. Well, for me, it was the dream that if you just plant a crop now and you take it to the market, it's all sold. But when I started it, I saw it was all a lie. You have to actually practice your market. You don't just carry it and just take to the market and sell.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Now let's play the game. The participants are blindfolded and they have to guess the tomato crops from the other crops in the bucket in front of them. They have 60 seconds to do this, and the person who picks the most will definitely win. Are you ready for the game?
Yes.
Great. Buzzer. Tomato. Look for 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 tomato. Get. Somebody is already picking tomato. Somebody is already picking garden egg. Somebody is already picking something else. Tomato. Farmers can feel tomatoes. They don't have to see tomatoes. They plant tomatoes. Investing tomatoes. Everything tomatoes. They cook with. Let us go. 3, 2, 1. Buzzer. Thank you. Let's go. For you, tomato. So we have, you picked apple. Let's count your tomato. 1. Count with me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 tomatoes from
Additional.
And for my beautiful Abibat, how many tomatoes? Are you ready?
Yes.
You count.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6.
minus 1. And the winner for this game is no other than our own Mr. Additional. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How excited are you?
Very excited.
Were you expecting to be the winner today?
Yeah, kind of.
Why? You've looked down on her?
Nope. I didn't look down at her. But it's tomatoes. I grew tomatoes.
Oh, congratulations to you.
Yeah.
It's still Farm and Fortune. Don't forget that the gamers, definitely the winner of the game today, will be going home with 100,000 naira worth of farm inputs. I hope you're learning from our game, as I am also learning. But it's not over yet. It's still Farm and Fortune. Let's take it to the other side. Don't go anywhere.
All right, that's all we have time for today. I hope you learned a lot.
Yes, I did. And I hope you had fun.
I wasn't talking to you.
I wasn't responding to you anyway.
Wow. Anyway, guys, see you next week when we'll be talking about how to plan a digital marketing strategy for your agribusiness.
And talking about digital, please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube and Instagram @Farm and Fortune.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week.